Hi, welcome back to a continuing interview with Dr. Wissam Raffoul from Dimension Data. So, holding up your crystal ball, what do you foresee as the future for cloud?
The future for cloud definitely will take off in the small services like storage, provided test environment in the infrastructure space. Right? It become attractive to mid-sized companies, small companies who want only an email service, for example, which is not integrated with many others. Right? It can go in that space.
Will it ever become mainstream?
It'll become mainstream if the outsourcer adopt it. And what makes the outsourcer adopt it? Because all outsourcing contracts are under tremendous pressure to reduce cost. Well, our research indicates about 70 or 80% of the outsourced environment renew with the same vendor. Right? So that's the market. 70% are already outsourced to one vendor. But when they renew with the same vendor, they are not renewing on the same terms and conditions. They are putting far more focus on process improvement, on service improvement, and efficiency gains, which they wanted to be translated into cost. So the more the buyer put pressure on, if you like, the major outsource to reduce costs, they might find themselves that they can do that by establishing an economy of scale type cloud computing facilities to do that. Because most of the projects, outsourced contract at this point in time, they are isolated projects. The linkages and the economy of scale is not necessarily designed like that. Every project runs on its profit and loss situation and so on. So there is a limit how much you can optimize efficiency. However, if you start seeing the pressure coming from all the outsourcing buyers, say, I want cost reduction, and it's clear it's no longer something desirable. It's clear that the first year I want you to reduce the cost by 5%, the second year by 3%, the third year of the contract by 7%, then you might find that the cloud, if you have multiple buyers, you can realize the economy of scale and reduce that, then it will be adopted. Right? If you take another analogy, which is, if you like of reverse engineering, if you look at 35 years ago, the cloud was there. We used to call it bureau service. The technology was there, mainframes. Not everyone can buy a mainframe. No. As simple as that. So big computing centers which have mainframes, and you subscribe to it. So they give you an environment, you run your payroll, your inventory, all that stuff, right? Why? The main driver was cost. You cannot afford buying that. Now it's again cost gonna be in a reverse way the main driver, right? I can buy small machines now everywhere. I might end up with 2,000 servers and I have only 2,000 users, put it like that, right? In an environment. Therefore, there is a lot of inefficiencies. And how are you gonna tackle that? Hopefully, if you do the cloud from that reverse engineering perspective, it could become a viable option, like the mainframe were a viable option only from the cost perspective. They are not necessarily happy with the services provided or that sort of thing. But the cost was a catalyst to make it happen. And here the cost would be a main influential in making it happen, to become a mainstream.
That's great. Look, thank you, Dr. Wissam Raffoul, for joining us here on ITViews. You've clearly got the experience and the expertise in the industry, and it's been a pleasure to speak with you today.
Thanks a lot, Jason.